My sugar daddy asks me for weird favors. His Tinder profile said 45, but he looked barely 30. Looking for a sugar baby. $700 a week. No sex. It sounded too good to be true, but as a broke university student, I was desperate enough to take the chance. I swiped right, and we matched instantly. His message came seconds later. Hey there, sweetheart. I cringed, but $700 was $700, so I replied with a wink emoji. His name was Jack. He said he owned his own business, but never specified what kind. He asked for my Venmo and sent the first payment immediately. I stared at the $700 for 20 minutes, expecting to wake up from a dream. But it was real. Then I asked what he wanted in return. He said he just needed me to pick up a delivery for him. Nothing sexual. He gave me an address and asked me to bring it to his house. He texted me the address of his house and told me to use the key under the blue flower pot. He was very specific. Lock the door when I go inside and lock it again when I leave. I drove to the first address. It was an abandoned house with a broken chain link fence surrounded by much nicer homes. It stuck out like a sore thumb. A huge man appeared in the doorway. He was covered in tattoos and blocked the entire entrance. He asked if I was there for Jack's stuff. He brought out a cardboard box the size of a shoebox, stained and damp. I opened my trunk, not wanting it on my seats. He placed it inside. As I was about to leave, he said one last thing. Watch out. That was it. Watch out. I blasted my music, trying to drown out the anxiety. I arrived at Jack's house. It was a mansion with stone pillars and the greenest grass I'd ever seen. I got the key, unlocked the door, and stepped inside. Something made me lock the door behind me, despite thinking it was overkill. Inside, the furniture was expensive. Thick maroon carpet cushioned my feet. I set the package on the coffee table and turned to leave. Then I heard a phone ringing from somewhere inside the house. My phone buzzed. Don't answer any calls that aren't from Marvin. I followed the sound to a study and saw the caller ID, Jack. I left the house, remembering to lock the door. I was starting to get creeped out. I didn't answer the call, just to be safe. Over the next few weeks, I did more favors. I drove a BMW to a park and drove another car back. I delivered a briefcase to the first house. They told me he would know if I looked inside. On other occasions, Jack asked me to stay with Julio, the man from the house, for a certain amount of time. In total, I'd made around $3,500. It was easy money, but each favor felt heavier, weirder, more ominous. Then Jack asked me to stay in his house overnight. I never even met him in person. He said he'd pay me $1,000. I hadn't seen him once, only talked on the phone a few times. But $1,000 was hard to turn down. I agreed. I arrived at his house that evening. The place felt different in the dark, shadows stretching across the expensive furniture. I was alone, or so I thought. The house was silent, except for the creaks and groans of an old building. I couldn't shake the feeling I was being watched. I woke up to a text message. Not from Jack, but from a number I didn't recognize. It read, "You shouldn't have opened the package." I looked at the coffee table. The box was still there, but the tape was slit open. I never opened it, but someone had. And they wanted me to know.